see Miss Francisca from, I believe, Germany. Thank you. And then Maurice from Zambia. Thank you so much for joining in today. Today, we're talking briefly about a topic that will provide parents with opportunities to help their children or school owners to help their children. How do you prepare to get into top universities, right? So it's called the Top University Plan. And the first thing to realize is that this plan works for not just US universities, it actually works for other universities as well, Oxford, Cambridge, and so on. And the roadmap actually starts in primary five or fifth grade. So some parents think that, oh, when my child gets to high school, I'll start preparing. No, you actually start preparing when they're in primary five. If you get them right on in primary five, if you get these things right, there's a very high likelihood you can get them into top universities and get full scholarships, right? Now, all hope is not lost. Someone said the best time to prepare was yesterday, right? The best time to prepare was like in the past. The next best time is now. So whatever your child, wherever your child is at now, maybe they're in 11th grade or 12th grade and they can't, maybe it sounds like it's too late. That's okay. They can still get into good schools, maybe not the top schools, and they can still get opportunities, right? So I just want to encourage us to keep that in mind. So getting into top universities is actually not luck, right? There's actually a strategy, there's a plan, there's a way you can go about it. And the way I've divided this up is that there are about there's six categories that we need to talk about. The first one is academic excellence. Everybody knows that. The second one is leadership. The third one is college relationships. Then there's life outside the classroom, communication, and then your academic record and application strategy. So the first step is, of course, we need to ask, where are we now? So I want you to write down for your student, open a Google document and write down what are the things we've done so far. That's the first thing. What are the things we've done so far, right? And then set the goals, right? Now, our team is happy to work with you to do a lot of the itemization. For schools that are on this call, it might be best to meet with our team in terms of your school, looking at a strategy for how to help as many of your students get into top universities, right? We can get a school strategy going. Of course, that makes your school a lot more competitive if your students are all getting into top universities around the world and studying, and making an impact where they're going. But for the parents on the call, my advice is that you create a Google folder, you get a document, and just write down what you have so far. And then reach out to our team. Let's sit down, let's talk, and let's begin to map out a plan for your child. Let's start with academic excellence. So the first thing is this. If you want to get into top schools, you do need to be very good academically. There's no way around it. We are looking for you to graduate in the top 5% of your class. That would be great. Now, what if you graduate beyond, that 5%? It's not all hope is lost. A lot of these universities use something called a holistic approach. I actually am doing some work with MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which happens to be the best university in America right now. And I'm doing some work with them, and it works. And the work involves working with the admissions department. It so happens that our paths have crossed, and we are doing some work regularly now. And it has to do with something else, but I get to learn about just admissions in general. And one of the most interesting things they've said is that they actually have to review your whole application because they are looking for a holistic, like they're looking for holistic students, not just students who are the top 5% of their graduating class. Number two, advanced academic work in mathematics. This is where counting to calculus comes in. Counting to calculus is the most advanced math curriculum in the world. And we thank God. We share that. And why did we build the most advanced math curriculum in the world? Because we believe that students should not stop learning math ever. We don't think people should stop learning math until they graduate from secondary school every single day. Maybe Sundays off. We can agree on that. But okay, maybe Saturday and Sunday. Take it easy, Mr. Amos. Okay, Mr. Tarfa is going to give Saturdays and Sundays off. But other than that and vacations, students should be doing math, period. No exceptions, no apologies. That's the new Amos Tarfa. I have no apologies for that. Why am I doing this? Like, Amos, you're ruining some of the children's fun time. Here's why. Because there's a technology that has arrived that can make people's mental abilities weak. Like, they can get lazy fast. So we need a way to keep students engaged in learning and flourishing. So there it is, my friends. We have to make sure students are learning math every single day. Mr. Elias just made a comment. The AI revolution is moving faster than people realize. We might not see it in certain parts of the world, but if you're in America and you're paying attention, it is moving really fast. The problem is that as the AI revolution moves, so fast, it provides opportunities for students to be lazier and lazier. At this point, a student can go through their whole education and never do an assignment themselves, ever. Like at this point, they can literally cheat the system by using AI and they will actually do better than their classmates. I can guarantee you that. AI will beat out any school's curriculum, guaranteed, especially if you're using Claude, right? If you're using Claude, that kid will be the best in all the subjects and all their homeworks. Now, can AI make mistakes? Yes, it can, but it doesn't make as many mistakes as human beings make, right? In terms of how it does its work, right? Especially if the student has actually built the AI to have something called a RAG architecture, which we can talk about later. This is scary times. If a student knows how to use AI, they can literally cheat the system in a way that you will never know. And that's not good. I'm not here to support students cheating. But the point I'm trying to make is in a world where machines are thinking, quote unquote, how can we keep teaching the same way we were teaching in 1999 when I was a student? It makes no sense. I mean, I'm being very honest and blunt. It makes no sense. So what is the way forward? Our students need to do advanced academic work, every one of them. They literally need to be challenged mentally because AI will make them lazy. So the way we challenge them intellectually is we give them the highest levels of math. My students who use counting the calculus are finishing their math degree. They will finish their math degree before they graduate secondary school. They will finish their university math degree. That's what I'm saying. Or at least their minor in a university math program. They are completing 21 to 24 credits in math. Why am I saying all of this? Because it's not just that, oh, people should check out counting calculus. No, it's that they need to have a plan. What is their plan for math excellence? That's the point I'm trying to bring up. If they have a plan for math excellence, then maybe they won't get lazy intellectually. But the AI revolution is a double-edged sword. It has advantages, but it can literally destroy the intellectual ability of a whole generation. That's where we find ourselves. Number 3, advanced work in science. Same thing. Every student needs to do physics. Every student needs to do chemistry. I'm not talking about science and non-science. No. Every student. Why? Because the whole revolution ahead of us requires chemistry and physics. Like you can be a lawyer and know chemistry and physics. It doesn't matter. And the resources are out there. There are free textbooks. There are free lectures. Let me just say something I don't think people have come to terms with. And again, I say this in love. We need to stop limiting ourselves to only what's in front of us. There are massive numbers of resources available on the internet, and we need to teach students how to use it responsibly. They don't need to be scrolling on TikTok and Facebook all day. No, as a matter of fact, they should not be touching those things. They need to get a vision for life first. Students need to know where they're headed in life first before they engage with any of these tools. But there are so many students that are distracted. They are playing games. They don't have a vision for life. And that leads me to a very key item for getting into top universities. You have to have a vision for life. So we need them to have advanced work in science, advanced work in English. They need to read, read, read. The reading culture is dying. Children are not reading. But that would be different if you want your child to go to a top university. They need to read the great books of Western civilization. We have a whole website dedicated to over 100 books. We've already put it there for you. Email us or reach out to us. We have a whole website with 100 free books. Oliver Twist, Great Expectations. I can go on and on. They're there. Charles Dickens. They're all there for you. Booker T. Washington. So parents, your children need to read a lot, and we have the website for them with a lot of the resources. They need to do math and science competitions, especially those who want to go into STEM careers. They need to take part in things like FIRST Robotics. This is the academic section. We're going to probably do a part 2 of this maybe next month, but I just want to give us part 1. They need a solid base, and this is part 1 of, the academic excellence. What about part 2? It's not enough to be the best. in your academics. But you also need to have a plan that is focused on leadership, peer mentoring, community involvement, financial leadership, time management, study skills, note taking skills. Like, the students need to have excellent notes. I was joking that we need to start buying the notebooks of students sometimes now. Like, I want to start giving an award for the best note takers, because note taking is actually is a very important skill. And if you want to get into these top universities, you need to be organized. You need to also be collaborating and volunteering. What are you doing in your community? How are you solving problems? I'm going to let the cat out of the bag with a big announcement. We have a challenge that is starting now. It's called Bring Electricity to Africa 24/7. Excuse me. By the grace of God, one of my goals in the next 5 to 10 years is to get electricity in as many communities as possible in Africa 24/7. I'm not saying some days on, no, 24/7. Yesterday, the world saw something that was very strange. One man now has a net worth more than the top three GDPs of Africa combined. If you add up the companies that he owns, his net worth is more than the net worth of him and his companies is more than the GDP of the whole continent of Africa. One man, Elon Musk. I don't agree with the idea of going to Mars and trying to establish a colony. I don't agree with some of those things, but I have to I have to salute and say, first of all, it's interesting, right? A South African born person is now the wealthiest man in the world in the trillions, right? We've not had a trillionaire for a long time. We had a trillionaire during the days of Jesus. Augustus Caesar would be considered a trillionaire. He'll be worth about 4 trillion. So Elon Musk is about 25% from him. But Elon is now the second, right? The second or third trillionaire as an individual. And you was saying that he's going to go to Mars to establish colonies, and we can't get constant electricity in all of Africa. Like that is just a lie, right? So we're going to do that. But how are we going to do that? We're going to invite students to do a project of solving electricity in Africa. We're going to give an award to the best team on the project in November, God willing, of $1,000. Whoever can give the best solution for the longest running electricity solution for Africa will get $1,000. That's the bare minimum. Now, if Elon and some of the other people that I'm hoping to cross paths with, if some of them hear what's going on and they vex, and that money changes to $100,000 or $1 million, I'll be more than happy to share that with the team that does it as well. My point is this: these are the kinds of things that get the top universities excited to talk to you. When you can show them, I fixed electricity in my village. I mean, just think about that. What have you done that has made an impact? How have you volunteered? And you say, I fixed electricity in my village. You know, I grew up in Nigeria, and I left when I was about 17, 18. And I still, like, my heart is saddened by just, not just Nigeria, I'm talking about in general, just what many children don't have access to. And what I think I want to do is, let us provide the families on this call and in our community, let's provide you with opportunities to solve a pain point. And then let us use that also to tell the universities, look at what pain point the students have solved. Give them a chance at the top universities so that they can continue expanding on their work. Because 15 years from now, God willing, every child in Africa should have electricity, clean drinking water, and good healthcare, which is connected with electricity sometimes, but of course, human capital development. These are things I'm working on with a team, but I'm inviting students who want to go to top universities to work with us to do these projects. So if you're interested in learning more about this idea, which is under the STEM clubs across Africa, reach out to our team, amos@learningforexcellence.com, amos@learningforexcellence.com. That's the email you can reach out to. So the top schools want to see that you've solved problems. What problems have you solved? Guess what? We're going to show them the ones that we've solved. Guys, going to Mars is not going to be easy. Setting up a colony on Mars is not going to be easy. The US is planning to go to the moon over the next few years and set up a colony there. Guys, this is happening. I joke and say these guys are from the same planet as us, right? So let's start thinking like that. Like, what problem can I solve on a massive scale? Like, going to the moon is not easy. By the way, if your students have ideas, for Elon or NASA, let them send it to me, right? I live near Elon Musk in Texas, and I'm actually like right next to NASA right now. Like if they have an idea, let them send it. Let's push it out. You never know. Let them start writing about their ideas. Let me tell you one of the problems your students can solve, and then I'll start landing our plane. So, going to top universities, when it's all said and done, it comes down to what problems have you solved. That's why I'm spending some time here too. You have to solve a problem in a way that makes the world shake their heads. That's how you get into MIT on a full scholarship. No, not all. I'm not guaranteeing that for everybody, but I'm just telling you that's how a lot of people get into MIT on a full scholarship. That's how a lot of people get into Harvard on a full scholarship because they've done something that made people go, wow. So if you want to go to Mars, there's a window of time that you have to go because Earth and Mars only come together, close together, only about every 2 years. Imagine you write a proposal to Elon and NASA and SpaceX and Tesla, and you are able to show them how the best launch window, you can launch this way, you can do that, and you can show them the mathematics and the physics. Guys, imagine if these guys start paying attention to your students' work. That's another guarantee. Whether they go to the top universities or not, they're getting a scholarship. I mean, these guys are literally trying to figure out how to put humans on Mars. That's a big problem. Let's solve it. And I would love to say that some of my students solved it, right? Number three, college relationships. We now officially have an MIT graduate as part of our advisors. Why is this important? Because if you want to go to MIT, it would be fun for you to get some mentoring by this gentleman that I'll introduce you guys to very soon. But the point is, connect with people who have gone to some of these schools, right? And then work with them. Write papers with some of these people. Do internships with them. Volunteer in college activities if you can. Number four, life outside the classroom. You know, it's one thing to be the best academically, but also look at taking part in a sport. Even if you're not the best in it, just do a little bit of a sport. Play an instrument. Do some IT classes. We're offering an AI engineering class. If you want to take part in that, let us know as well. Learn another language, maybe French, maybe Spanish. If I could go back on my education, one thing I would do differently now is I would take my French classes way more seriously. I got A's in French, don't get me wrong, but I was learning it to pass the test. I didn't think I was going to need it after I graduated. I needed to learn to be fluent in the language. Play chess, play Scrabble, do some spelling tournaments, do some theater arts. Those are good ways, right? And notice that this chart, and I can share it with you. Just email amos@learningforexcellence.com, and I'll share this with you. You can fill this chart and ask, where are we now? And what are the goals for the future? Communication. This is where I think we are in trouble. Many children cannot communicate. We used to leave communication to those who were in the arts class. You can't do that anymore. Look at Elon Musk. Doesn't he have to communicate? Right? Everybody needs to know how to communicate, even if you're the best engineer in the world. Which, by the way, random fact for the day, Elon Musk is not an engineer. And that should tell us something. He was just very focused on a mission. He's not an engineer. Now, for those who don't know, the reason why he became a trillionaire yesterday was because he took his company public. His company is called SpaceX. And SpaceX is an engineering company, by all accounts, I would argue. They make rockets but Elon he studied physics and economics. He doesn't have a PhD and he's not an engineer. This should tell us something about our education system. When you go to school, it should not only be because of what you're going to do with the degree you get. You should use the degree you get as a way to improve your thinking. But ultimately, what is driving you? What are you passionate about? What problem do you want to solve? And for Elon, it was the space problem. And he did it. He solved the space problem, right? Of reusable rockets. He's going to move on to the next stage. What problem can your children also tap into and also communicate about it clearly? I understand social media can be very rough and vicious and bad. And yes, I'm not saying you should put your children giving talks on Facebook. However, YouTube or Vimeo can be used properly. So imagine you help your children, let's say they're 16, 17, 18, help them record a short video where they are speaking about the problem they're trying to solve. And then it's easier for us to pass those videos to the relevant people that might be able to watch the video, see the problem your children have solved, and say, I want that child in my company. Do you know that Elon Musk doesn't care what your college degree is or if you have a college degree? Like, he literally doesn't care. He himself is a PhD dropout, right? Just like me. So I joke sometimes and say that when you get into the right schools, you can drop out and then you'll be okay in life. But I joke you can't drop out except you're in Harvard, though. You got to go to Harvard first before you drop out, or Stanford. Anyways, that's a joke. By God's grace, I do plan to complete my PhD. But I did a year and then I took a break when we found out we're having our seventh child. And so I bring this up to say we need to learn to communicate clearly, learn to write properly, learn to also publish. And I'm happy to announce that I am willing to work with some of the students to publish papers, whether it's with me on a topic that I do research in, which is I work in the field of medical physics, or education. I do work in technology, education, AI, fluency. So we can look at ideas there. But the other thing we can do is we can connect your child to a college professor in the US in a field that your child is passionate about so they can publish with that person. And then when they apply for college, they should say, I published with such and such a person. Okay, let's wrap up with this category here. Academic record and application strategy. You have to do the ACT and SAT. We offer that as a company. You can take it anywhere you need to, but make sure you work towards a perfect score on the ACT and the SAT. Number two, do some advanced work, right? There's something called International Baccalaureate or AP or A levels. Do some strong, rigorous work. If you don't know how to get in touch with those organizations or take those exams, we have some partners that we work with in Nigeria that can help. Those who go to school in the UK, just so you know, they're automatically stronger students than even those who are in America. People who graduate from school in the UK are literally more advanced than American counterparts. And that's public knowledge. You can look it up. The reason is because the UK does not play with education in general, especially their very good schools. Look at them on their uniforms and their ties and their suit. They're not playing with anybody, right? And then in America, again, I'm so sorry I'm being a little intense with America. In America, we're like playing games, we're having fun. That's just sad. Like students in America, only about 15% take calculus before they graduate. That's really sad. We have to fix that problem, but that's my other project I'm working on. Don't worry. But yeah, find a signature project, students. What is the research? What is a startup you want to make? What is an app? What is a paper? What is a nonprofit that the student creates? Right? You're going to write an application essay and a personal narrative. You're going to need letters of recommendation from your teachers. This is not the only reason you should be kind to your teachers, though. And you should always be kind. You should always honor and respect your teachers. But the letters of recommendation will be great coming from your teachers. And then find out what summer programs you can do. This summer, we're going to be offering something in August in Nigeria. So for students who are in Nigeria, and hopefully we're working on some details for Kenya. For students who are in Nigeria and Kenya, we want to see if we can do some collaboration. And maybe Ghana and Zambia, Rwanda. We want to begin to get students to log in, meet some of the professors on our team. We have an AI scientist that will be coming in, a mechanical engineer. Let's build together. Remember the goal: electricity for all of Africa, for all of the world, actually, because Africa is not the only continent that has this challenge. It's all around the world. We need to create systems that give constant electricity to every human being on the planet by 2040, God willing. But let's start with our different countries. Let's get our students to work on these projects. One of the top mathematicians in the world made a comment recently. He said that you will find out that some top math research is going to start happening by high school students because AI is now available to them. They're going to start doing research on another level. That's crazy. That's coming from one of the best mathematicians in the world, Terence Tao, Dr. Terence Tao at UCLA. So I just want parents to understand that we can collaborate with students and help them build solutions, but we have to dream big. We cannot dream small. If Elon and all these guys are trying to go to Mars and go to the moon, we can solve problems by God's grace. And we can use this opportunity to also help our children get experience, and hopefully the experience helps them get into top universities. Deadlines, interviews, scholarships, financial aid, we can discuss all of that later. That's a whole webinar. But the idea is, the first step is let's get some of these things down, and then we can go from there. So let's build together. I want to help as many students as possible to get into top universities with full scholarships. so that they can then make an impact in their communities and help out. Thank you for your time. I'm going to stop here and hand it back to Mr. Elias. Thank you. Actually, give me 1 second. Okay. Yes, go ahead, sir.
No, thank you, Mr. Tarver, for your words. I wanted to briefly kind of open it to the public. If they have any questions, you can type it in the chat right now. You can type it in the chat right now so that we can begin to discuss some of the ideas. But while you get prepared for that, I do have some questions that I think will be important to start to get some answers to. And these are questions that some of you probably would have, but have not yet asked those questions, perhaps. You know, Mr. Tarfa, let's say somebody says, my child says that they're not really a math person. Is this something that can be done about that? And how do I get
Yes.
them excited again about math?
Yes, yes. The reason why people are not math people is because the math education system is broken. Have you ever met someone who's a music person and says, I'm not a music person or a music person? Have you ever heard that? Have we ever heard someone say, I'm not an art person? But do you know that math is in the same category as music and art? Like, literally, mathematics is beautiful, like music. Let me get my lighting right. Sorry. Am I doing okay here? Can you see me okay?
Yes, we can see you okay.
Okay. So I want to apologize to students. Again, Amos is getting blunter as I get older because there's no time. The math education system globally is broken. We teach mathematics like a bunch of tasks. We teach mathematics like it's a chore. This is a beautiful subject. This is a critical subject. And we make students literally learn disjointed facts. And please, school owners and teachers, I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just saying we got to change something today. We don't have time. Math is too beautiful to be taught the way it's taught globally. Like, think about it. Hey, I'm going to teach you this topic, but I'm not going to tell you who came up with it. I'm not going to tell you why it is applicable to anything. You just need to sit down and I'm going to tell you the facts and you're going to go home and you're going to memorize and you're going to take a test and that's how you learn math. Really? Really? Like, it's shocking. Again, Amos is getting old. So Amos is getting very, very, they say as you get old, sometimes you get grumpy a little bit. But the point I'm trying to make is I'm trying to get people to realize two things. Number one, AI is better than math, like than the best math students. AI is better than a lot of the math students in your schools. Why did I say that? Because AI is passing the tests that the best students at your school are taking better than them. That means you don't need to train your students to just be machines anymore, right? Train them to think clearly. If we teach math like that, I don't think anybody would ever say, I'm not a math person. So the problem actually starts with us. And I'm repenting on my ways, right? Math teachers globally, we have to repent. It is not right to put a child in a math topic when they've not mastered the prerequisites for that math topic. That's why they hate math. That if I'm good at it, if I'm doing it, if I'm following a mastery-based model, I'm gonna love it. That's why people hate it. It's actually nothing to do with the student. It has to do with the system, and the system needs to go, right? So that's number one. AI is already better than the best math students in high school. It's already better because it's doing better on the International Math Olympiad. So we don't need to make more students just pass tests because AI can do the testing or the test passing. What we need to be teaching students is here's the history of math, here's how math works, here's how you can do well in it, here's how you can love it. This is going to take a whole restructuring of math education. And that's why we offer the Classical Teachers Program every third Saturday of the month. So next Saturday, sorry, one more plug, we're teaching teachers how to teach math classically. Like, I'm meeting with people here in America. Today, I told you there's principals, superintendents of Houston. I'm not speaking. I'm just meeting and saying hello. My friends are speaking. My friends are involved. I just met them. We're creating a partnership. But my idea is, like, we have to do something different. And then the other thing I would say is this. If a student never went to math class, ever, in the current education system for math, they might actually be better off. What? Amos, what did you just say? Yeah, and let me repeat. If they never go to math class in the current education system of math, they would actually be better off, most likely. Here's why. Some of the best mathematicians in the world did not go to math class. Math class actually destroyed people's passion. I'm not saying we should abolish math class. I'm saying we should abolish the math education system that powers math classes. What should happen in math class? Number one, it should not be grade level based. Math is not a grade level subject. Again, I understand there's school owners and principals that are within a constraint. I get it. But I'm being very honest with you, and there's a reason. I'm going to say the reason next. You cannot put a child in a math class simply because of their age. No. You have to ask the question, have you mastered the prerequisites? If they have not, please do not put them in that class. Math is not a respecter of anybody's age or anybody's grade level. The only thing that math cares about is, have you mastered the prerequisites? Do you know the topics that are necessary to do the current topic? Why is Amos speaking like this? Because the next 10 to 15 years will be run by people who know math. If you don't know math in the next 5 to 10 years, I'm sorry to say this, you are in serious trouble. Let me explain. AI, quantum computing, space exploration, on and on and on. Do you guys see what I'm saying? It's all math. That's why schools need to get desperate and urgent to help every one of their children love math today. So they get good at it today, not tomorrow, today. Because you want them to have a future, therefore you need to get them to love it. The more you love something, the better you become at it. Okay, that's it. Mr. Elias knows how much I'm passionate about math, so he got me going there. There's another
Yes.
question, but go ahead. You can read it to us, sir.
Yeah, there's another question saying, I think it's from Morris. It says, what's the point of trying to get students to top universities if the current educational model has to change?
Ah, that is a great question. The answer is because Amos and his team have not released their own education system yet, by God's grace, right? When we get the university, African Institute for Science and Technology, when we build our alternative to Cambridge and Oxford, I promise I'll stop sending them there. But until we do that, they have to go somewhere, right? And some of the places that can teach them and give them the resources to build are some of the top universities. But Maurice is right. Like, let me say two things. First of all, going to university is no longer a necessity to have a successful life. Does everybody know that? That's number one. You don't have to go to college, right? Like, as I said, Elon Musk dropped out. Granted, he got a bachelor's. I could go on and on with some of these guys. A lot of them didn't go to college or they dropped out. Like, going to college is not so much about knowledge anymore. It's about learning the skills to thrive in work, but also building networks of people. But here's my prayer and my heart cry. I want to build, by God's grace, with my team, the best universities in the world. And I want to have one in Abuja, Nigeria, Kigali, Rwanda, Nairobi, Kenya, and on, right? I want to hold him back. We're going all out. We're going to teach the knowledge, but we're going to teach about life. There is a need for a new education system. For those on the call, I just want us to know the current education system is not going to work for the AI revolution. I'm sorry I'm bearing bad news today. Here's why it's not going to work. Because it was built in the Industrial Revolution where knowledge was scarce. Is knowledge scarce anymore? Oh no, we have another problem now. There's too much. There's too much. Would you guys agree? There's too much. So the problem is no longer knowledge, but that's the thing that schools were selling. The commodity they were selling is now free. So what is their relevance anymore? Schools have to rebrand. They cannot be about knowledge alone. They need to be about building with the knowledge that has been acquired. That's the new phase we're in. Builders, not knowledge take, like not just people who take in knowledge. Builders. Schools, if you want your schools to help build builders, reach out. We'll work with you on that as well. We work with both schools and families, right? We work with direct family connections, but we also work with schools because the AI revolution needs a new kind of school. The industrial revolution, but the thing is, sometimes when something expires, you might not see the effect right away, but I can guarantee you, you're going to see the effect. You're going to see a lot of teachers get frustrated in the current education system because all the kids are cheating using AI. Like, you're going to see those things happen. Teachers are going to go from being teachers to becoming detectives. Literally, teachers are going to try and be detectives. Did this person use AI or not? And let me just be very honest with the teachers. I'll say this free of charge to you. This is very expensive advice, but I'll give it to you guys for free because you came today. Teachers should not become detectives. You will fail at being detectives. Here's why. Because the AI is getting so good, you're going to be so confused on whether or not they use AI. So don't even try. Instead, give them assignments in such a way that using AI will not defeat the purpose. But most of the assignments in our schools right now, AI will eat it up. Eat it up. Like, done. Why? Because we trained AI with the internet, and the internet had everybody's homework on there. Are you seeing my point? All textbooks are there. So the AI is so good at doing homework. So the best mathematician, one of the best mathematicians in the world, just made a video recently, and he said AI is destroying education or math education. And the point he made is that you can't give homework questions if you don't want them to use AI. Like you can't give a homework question that AI might not be able to catch because AI has all that knowledge. So we have to get a little more bit more creative. Does that mean we should stop giving homework? Yes, that's part of the point. Yes, I know. Amos, what did you just say? Don't you want to go to top universities? No, homework is pointless if I can just put it in AI and it gives me the answer, right? Make sure it means something to me. Don't just give me like easy homework that AI can do. Give me things that AI will struggle with. So, should we do homework? Okay, yes, we can, but not the way we've done it before because AI is going to demolish it. And a lot of kids are not paying attention because they don't care. Let's get kids to care, and then let's give them the tools to build. Notice what I said, not to know, to build. Because the era of knowing, you could be the best in the exams in America or wherever, nobody cares. What have you built? That's what they want. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. And we're still gonna take a few more questions. Um, so just please don't hesitate to write it on the chat. But while we wait, I do have another question and perhaps a comment as well. As people are in here and may have questions that they are yet confident on sharing those. But a comment is that like the mastery-based approach that we've been kind of talking about, right? Is taking students from just absorbing content
Yep.
which AI can do, and is taking that into how can I actually apply this in real life situations, and
Yep.
taking them there so that AI is a tool that they're using to solve real problems and apply
Yep.
the problems. I'm sure if their parents here, they probably know the kids, especially if they don't already like math and say like, what am I gonna use this for? Trigonometry,
Yep.
what's that for? Like I am going to be a construction worker. There is no point to me going to learn math and or calculus or anything like that. And as much as sometimes that can be very demotivational for parents to be like, well, I guess, I don't know the answer to that either. So it is what it is. Let's just let the kid go. But there is so much more that your kid can do. And that is what we're trying to really get here. So with the mastery-based approach, we want to teach the kids on how can they actually flourish liking math even if they already don't like it right now, because there seems like there is a gap in understanding. It's just like Mr. Tucker was saying, because knowledge really is like a chain, it's connecting one to the other. One builds on top of the other. If you lack something, it's harder for you to understand the next topic, even if everybody else is going along, it's going to
Yep.
become really difficult. You're going to start have to memorize things that you didn't really need to, and the
Yep.
child probably is also feeling that. If for us adults it's difficult to learn that and memorize a lot of things, imagine the kids. So I want to lighten that load by enabling them to see the connections between the subjects, but not only that, the applications as well in the real life. And that is a little bit of the difference that we're trying to bring in with the mastery-based approach compared to the traditional approach, where we just give the kids a bunch of homework and they go put it into AI. I've been a GA, who's a graduate teaching assistant, right, for a time, and I can tell you for a fact the professors are struggling to try to grade materials from students. They
Mm-hmm.
assign everything to us as GAs, of course, and then we get to grade those. And these are university students. They are not like your K to 12, but these are university students. And you can definitely see that this homework is exactly identical to the other person, but you just can't prove it. You just
Uh,
can't prove it. You just can't
uh,
prove it. And the only option remaining is that the teacher has to either do the tasks in the class and have to monitor every person so that there is nobody checking on your phones, but that is also
Mhm.
time consuming because there is not much time for the teacher to be able to see to assign all the homeworks and assignments in class. So something has to fundamentally change in how those assignments are given. And that is precisely how we are coming across right now and saying there is a solution to this. There is a
Yep.
solution to this particular problem, and we have it. And if you are on board with us, and you can ask him more questions. If you're on board with us, we can take this to the next level where your kid will actually come home and say, I love math. I wanna learn more about this because math is really the language of the universe. If I
Yep.
may say so,
Yep.
they will learn to understand that. I've loved math for most part of my life. I did not major in it, but it's been, and I've done a lot of economics. And if anybody does economics, they know like at a higher level, economics becomes math.
Wow.
Really, just math. It's just a bunch of calculations, a bunch of limits and derivations, and you just assume that that is true, and then this and that, and it goes on. Really. So the goal that we're trying to say here is like learning math will be fundamental for your kids to master most of all other subjects. And it's not only that; it's gonna enable them to think critically, to think on terms of structure, how things actually work. It enables the kids to have structure. So it's not just okay to say, well, the kid doesn't like it. Well, let's just let him go because they're not gonna be mathematicians. It's not for them. No, no, no. That's gonna debilitate them in even being a successful engineer or a successful construction worker. Because you gotta think in structures. Often we are human beings. You have to
Yep.
think in categories, right? So we gotta
Yep.
think in structures. So enable them to think, okay, first comes this, then comes that. Those steps that they do in dividing numbers, are important and they apply it in different ways in life, right? And we
Yep.
are here to teach them that and to teach them why do we do it this way?
Yep.
Why not something else? Why do we do it this way? And that's what we're trying to come across, right? But now I want to also kind of open it to Mr. Tarfer here and then to the public as to how else is our program, the program that we're offering with Calti the Calculus as well as Last Time Online, how is it embedding the mastery-based approach? How is it helping students compared to the traditional approach?
So, there's something very interesting. There's categories, as Mr. Elias said. Mr. Elias is very good in math, and he took calculus 2, which is one of the hardest math classes. And I still remember him thinking it wasn't that hard, and I'm just like, this is crazy. Anyways, well done, Elias. But one of the things, by the way, Mr. Elias is from Angola. I'm from Nigeria. We have other team members, Maurice, who's in Zambia, but originally from Rwanda. We have Joy, who's in Kenya. So by God's grace, it seems like Africa, we have representatives, right? We have Westwood Park represented here from Jos, Nigeria, with Mrs. Stella Yak. So we're growing our network, right, of African connection, and I think that is the key. Africa needs collaboration. We can't. The continent needs to collaborate, just like the states in the U.S. collaborate. It's kind of a strategy I think of. Anyways, back to the point of what you said, though. There's something that I want people to understand that is very critical. So I studied philosophy, and I still do. I have a minor in philosophy from undergrad in college. There are times where something is a problem because the kids don't like it, and therefore we still do it because the kids need to do it. Do it whether or not you like it. Okay. What is happening right now in education is actually not that. The children, most of them don't like school, especially those who are 12 and older. A lot of them don't like school. Like, I can tell you, like a lot of kids, even though I was a serious student and so on, I wouldn't say I necessarily liked a lot of, I mean, I was a nerd, I guess, but I didn't like all my subjects. Now, what is happening in education right now is that the children cheat sometimes because they don't care, because they don't like it, and the system cannot use the excuse of stop cheating. This is bad. You should like school because it's good for you. This is where there's a problem because the last assumption I just made is no longer valid in the AI revolution. Here's what I mean. What is the point of sitting 25 people down and teaching them one topic when 10 of them have no clue what you're saying? Who benefits from that? Nobody. Nobody. So our structure in education now is officially a problem, and the students don't like it anyways, which is also a problem. So we are actually in a lose-lose education system. Everybody loses. Nobody wins, honestly, because the teachers get frustrated, the students might not like it, the education system is outdated, and the AI revolution is going faster than the speed of sound. All of this is happening at the same time. What are we supposed to do? We can't fix it. We need a new paradigm. That paradigm is a mastery based education model that says, John, you do not do chapter 2 until you understand chapter 1. And we have the tools to do that. So that's my take, Mr. Elias. It
Yeah.
is our only way forward. Mastery based education for human flourishing. That is
Yeah.
the only way that we can educate in the AI revolution.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
over to you.
Absolutely.
And then I know that we're coming down on a few more minutes here. So I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe like 1 minute, but if people have any questions, otherwise
Yeah.
we will begin to wrap up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. This is yeah, 1 minute. If somebody has any last questions, please feel free to type it in the chat right now.
Otherwise, can you put my email please in the chat? Let me see. I'll put it there, and then let's continue this conversation. Of course, anytime. I put
Mhm.
my email, the main one, Amos. Okay, I put my email in the chat, our website in the chat as well. And yeah, I don't know if you want to kind of help us wrap
Yeah.
up, Elias, or if you want me to.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap up here with one last question, and this is gonna be something direct to the point. If you are a parent of a 10-year-old today, which I think probably you are, knowing everything you know about the education system and AI and scholarships and university admissions, what would you do differently for the next 5 years?
The first thing I'll do with the 10-year-old, and I'm sorry, again, it feels like I'm sharing my own thing there, though, is even if they don't want to use mine, that's fine. I would go on the MIT website or the Cambridge website. I would look at the math requirements that need to be met for the best students that come into the school, and I'll put my child on that track. That's number one. My child needs to be on a track to be in calculus as soon as possible. Number two, which we have that on countytocalculus.org. But number two, I would go ahead and give them a mentor in a field that they're passionate about. So let me put countytocalculus.online in the chat. It's right there also. So I would get them a mentor in a field that they're passionate about, get them to start meeting with their mentor. Number three, I would start building a project with them right away. Number four, I would email the admissions office of the universities they're interested in and say, I'm interested in your university. What are the things I should be doing? Number five, I would attend all the webinars that Life and the Learning Institute for Excellence is doing. I would make sure I'm attending the webinars, I'm paying attention, and then I'll set up a meeting with Mr. Elias, Amos, and the team and say, I have a 10-year-old. Give me my roadmap, right? If you email me, I'll email you the PDF I shared today. Use that as a starting point to write down what they have. But use this time to help your 10-year-old to get a direction for life and then go all the way in as far as they can go in building in that field. And then watch how that leads to potential top college opportunities. Because it's partly about being so focused on a problem that you want to solve. That's how you get yourself ahead in getting ready for colleges.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. I believe that wraps up us for today. There is another webinar coming up in a few minutes here. If you want to sit and talk about AI fluency with us, you want to learn more about that and how do you get your kid to actually thrive in that. Otherwise, we get to see you here next Saturday. There is always something interesting going on that we are planning and we are doing. So please let us know. So, yeah, with that said, thank you for coming, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Yeah, and Mr. Elias, let me put the link in the chat for the AI fluency for those who have questions on that. So give
Okay.
me 1 second. It's actually a different link. So let me put it and then we'll wrap up. But if you want to join that one, it's just gonna take me 1 second. Sorry, I didn't have it handy, but I'm getting it right now. Or Joy, if you have the link, please can you put it in the chat in there, please? I think I found it. It's right here. Perfect. Okay, it's in the chat now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so
perfect.
much.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you all soon.
Yeah. All right.
Have a blessed day. Bye bye.
Let's say bye bye.